A major weather threat is building across the United States, with the potential for dangerous storms, tornadoes, and life-threatening flooding. Today's precipitation map shows several active areas of rainfall across the United States, while many central regions remain mostly dry. The most organized precipitation is stretching from eastern Wisconsin across the Chicago area and into parts of Michigan, where a band of moderate to locally heavy rain is producing wet travel conditions and reduced visibility. Additional rain is affecting portions of the Great Lakes region, with a few embedded heavier showers possible. Across southern Florida, tropical moisture continues to bring moderate to heavy rainfall, especially over the southern peninsula and nearby Gulf Coast communities. Localized downpours may produce ponding on roads and brief flooding in low-lying areas. In the southwest, scattered showers are developing across southern Arizona and parts of New Mexico, bringing light to moderate rainfall to otherwise dry locations. Meanwhile, much of Texas, the Central Plains, and large portions of the Midwest remain dry today, with only isolated light showers. Overall, precipitation is concentrated in a few key regions rather than spread across the entire country. Looking ahead over the next 3 days, there is an increasing risk that a stronger storm system could develop across parts of the Great Lakes, southeast, and eastern United States. If this system strengthens, heavy rainfall, flash flooding, and isolated severe thunderstorms could become a significant concern. Residents should stay updated with local forecasts and be prepared for rapidly changing weather conditions. Today's wind map shows a noticeable contrast in wind speeds across the United States, with the strongest winds focused around the Great Lakes and parts of the Southeast. The highest wind speeds are currently centered near the Chicago area, where gusts are reaching around 54 kilometers per hour, making this the windiest region in the country today. These stronger winds may create difficult driving conditions for high-profile vehicles and could blow around unsecured outdoor objects. Across Minnesota, winds remain breezy at around 33 kilometers per hour, while much of the upper Midwest is experiencing moderate airflow associated with an active weather system. Florida also remains windy, with sustained winds near 30 kilometers per hour, especially across the peninsula and Gulf Coast, where coastal conditions may become rough and hazardous for small boats. Along the East Coast, including Washington and New York, winds are generally light to moderate, while the Central Plains, Texas, and much of the Southwest continue to experience relatively calm conditions with only occasional gusts. The western United States remains mostly stable, although localized afternoon breezes may develop over mountain and desert regions. Overall, today's wind pattern is manageable for most of the country, but a few regions are seeing stronger gusts. Looking ahead over the next 3 days, there is an increasing risk that a stronger wind system could expand across the Great Lakes, Midwest, and eastern United States. If that happens, damaging wind gusts, scattered power outages, falling tree branches, difficult travel, and hazardous marine conditions could become more widespread. Today's temperature map shows warm to hot conditions across much of the United States, with the hottest air remaining focused over the southern and central states. Texas continues to experience some of the highest temperatures, with Dallas around 31 degrees Celsius and Houston near 27 degrees Celsius, creating hot afternoon conditions. Florida is also very warm, with temperatures close to 31 degrees Celsius, while much of the Gulf Coast remains consistently warm and humid. Across the southeast, including Georgia, temperatures are generally around 27 degrees Celsius, providing a hot and muggy afternoon. The Midwest is slightly cooler but still comfortable, with Chicago near 25 degrees Celsius and Minneapolis around 24 degrees Celsius. The Northeast is enjoying milder weather, with temperatures mostly ranging from 22 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius, making outdoor conditions relatively pleasant. In the western United States, mountain regions remain cooler, while interior valleys and desert areas continue to experience warmer afternoons. Overall, today's temperatures are close to seasonal levels across most of the country, with no widespread extreme heat currently affecting the nation. However, over the next 3 days, there is an increasing risk that a stronger heat dome could expand across parts of the South, Central Plains, and lower Mississippi Valley. If this pattern strengthens, temperatures may rise well above seasonal averages, increasing the risk of dangerous heat stress, dehydration, and heat-related illnesses. Residents should stay hydrated, limit strenuous outdoor activities during the hottest hours, and continue monitoring local weather updates. Today's humidity map shows the highest moisture levels concentrated across the Gulf Coast and much of the southeastern United States. The most humid air is centered over Florida, where dew points are reaching around 25 degrees Celsius, creating very muggy and tropical conditions. Along the Gulf Coast, including parts of Texas and Louisiana, dew points remain in the low to mid-20s Celsius, making the air feel much warmer than the actual temperature. Houston is reporting a dew point near 24 degrees Celsius, while Dallas is closer to 19 degrees Celsius, indicating that southern Texas feels noticeably more humid than areas farther inland. Across the southeast, including Georgia, dew points around 21 degrees Celsius continue to support sticky conditions throughout the day. In the Midwest, humidity is more moderate, with Chicago around 22 degrees Celsius and Minneapolis near 17 degrees Celsius, providing a balance between warmth and moisture. The Northeast is experiencing lower humidity, making conditions more comfortable, while much of the western United States, including California, Nevada, Utah, and the Rocky Mountain region, remains much drier, with dew points generally in the teens. Overall, the greatest humidity today is confined to the southern and southeastern states. However, over the next 3 days, there is an increasing risk that deep tropical moisture could spread farther inland across the Gulf Coast, southeast, and lower Mississippi Valley. If that occurs, dangerous heat index values, oppressive humidity, and an increased chance of heavy thunderstorms could develop. Residents should stay hydrated, limit outdoor activities during peak afternoon hours, and continue monitoring local weather updates. Today's pressure map shows a noticeable difference between lower pressure across parts of the Midwest and Great Lakes and higher pressure across the western and eastern edges of the United States. The lowest pressure is centered around Chicago at approximately 1,005 megabytes, while Minneapolis is near 1,006 megabytes, indicating a more active weather pattern across the upper Midwest. This lower pressure area is helping support unsettled weather and a greater chance for changing conditions. Across the southern plains and Gulf Coast, including Dallas, Houston, and Florida, atmospheric pressure ranges between 1,011 and 1,013 megabytes, suggesting generally stable conditions with only localized weather disturbances. The southeast, including Atlanta, is also experiencing moderate pressure near 1,013 megabytes. Along the northeast coast, pressure gradually increases from 1,008 megabytes near Ottawa to 1,015 megabytes around New York, supporting relatively calmer weather compared to the Great Lakes region. Across the western United States, pressure remains slightly higher, generally between 1,010 and 1,015 megabytes, helping maintain more stable conditions. Overall, today's pressure pattern supports mostly typical summer weather across much of the country. However, over the